In progress. Yes, what a progress. Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining our annual business planning clinic. Awesome, awesome. We have here the incredible KW South Bay people and the Long Beach coastal people and the LA Harbor people, and of course, some guests from different offices and companies and what have you. Thank you, thank you. This is both live session, so each and every one of you can attend physically in the office because we're gonna have this back to back and over Zoom, as you can see. We're still in the Zoom world. So thanks for joining. This is somewhat could be an interactive session, even though it's going to be squeezed into a 30-minute in boxes that we're going to present to you. Going to give you a lot of the good stuff. So feel free to tap on the chat if you have any questions, if you don't want to interrupt the sequence, or if it's really like burning and it's relevant. So unmute yourself and ask a question. Okay, I'm going to open up with a 30-minute millionaire agent mindset with basic business 101, and then we're going to give it away to the Long Beach team, Holly and Deborah. They will talk about, or we'll do a business assessment for you, which is super awesome and super powerful. Then Mary is going to lead on with agent marketing plan, and Simon and Carlos will recap with the budget model from the MREA, which is super powerful, and you should master it, and your big why, which it will tie it into my opening. Okay, we good to go? Thumbs up? Yes, let's do it. All right. So, and in addition to that, the offices will send out later on, right? Maybe by tomorrow, link to the recordings. We're gonna do it on the KW shares and all the handouts. So whatever you see, you can take a screenshot, you can take a picture, you can write whatever you want, but we're also gonna give you everything by tomorrow. So 9 ways MREA thinks, okay? And one thing you have to understand is when we talk about MREA, Millionaire Real Estate Agent, sent as the red book that Gary Keller and Jay Papasan wrote years ago, it's not just about the real estate mindset. It's about being business mindset, have a business mindset, to have an entrepreneurial mind, right? So those are some of the principles, the 9 ways that the MREA thinks. Now, even if you're not in that capacity, not level of business, maybe you just started, it's all good because you want to know how to think or what to focus on so you can grow your business accordingly at some point, right? So the first thing is powered by the big why. And again, as I mentioned earlier, Simon and Carlos will take us a bit deeper into that path of the big why. And just to add the basics of it, you have to know what drives you, what fuels you. When you wake up every morning, you have to know why you do what you do, for who, for what reason. And that's going to fuel your life and your business. So that's one thing that you need to have part of your big checklist, right? The MREA checklist. Second thing, big goals and big models. So everything needs to be or should be tangible, measurable, right? Now, what does it say? Big goals and big models versus goals and models? Because you need to think big. You need to think big and even bigger, and need to thrive to act in that kind of environment, and also to have big models to support that thinking and those action and activities that you have. Why? Because we're all about breaking the ceiling of achievements, but also set up ourselves to a level of success that we're not going to limit us, right? So set big goals and big models. We'll talk about goals setting in a bit. Possibilities and action. So always look for possibilities and opportunities, right? When it comes to possibilities, it's like always understand what kind of options or where the path will take me. And that's where the MREA, always adjust themselves, or in a different way to describe it is understanding what's the next opportunity if it makes sense, right? Like a shift in market, what's the possibilities versus just say, I don't know what to do or what I'm doing, right? So always looking for the possibilities or the opportunities. Action. We can measure, we can show up to every class, any class, be the best student, memorize everything from A to Z, but if you're not going to take action, nothing really will happen, right? So taking action is definitely part of the DNA of every MREA, every successful entrepreneur. So this is something that you definitely have to, if you're not doing enough of, it's going to be on the day-to-day to-do list. And adding to that, without fear. Are you guaranteed to succeed? Are we guaranteed to succeed? Not always. Are we guaranteed to fail? Maybe, right? Also, nothing is guaranteed, but you want to be courageous to do what you believe is right for yourself and for your families and for the people that you support. Just take action accordingly, right? Don't be afraid. And if you made a mistake, you can always course correct and do whatever you need to do and move on from there, right? Every successful individual on planet Earth made mistakes, some more than success or the other way around, but don't fear to take action. Progress, that's something that need to be measured. We'll talk about that in a few minutes as well. So you have to understand the progress of your your path, your growth, your success, your action taken as well, competitively and strategically. So it's not like you have to be a competitive person. It sure does help, right? It sure does help, because if you have that desire to succeed, desire to compete, desire to to win, it's going to help you to drive more, right? If you're familiar with the DISC assessment or the KW assessment, the KPA, where we measure those levels, right? And the more competitive you are, even if it's not naturally embedded in you, the more desire you have to take action. So competitiveness, very for sure tied to action, and taking action leads to more results without fear, right? Without be afraid to take those actions. Strategically tied to other parts I'm going to go over in a few minutes, which it's all about setting the standards and have a plan in place that it can be measurable, that you can show up and do whatever you need to do. So you have to be strategic. That's the combination of both also increase efficiency of, again, getting the results done. Standards, just mentioned that. You want to have set of standards that you follow, and that you have like a level of measurements that you can apply to yourself and to your environment, if it's clients, on a daily basis, right? Or your peer, right? For example, are you going to take any listing at any price, any cost? Are you going to take work with any buyer, any investor, any price, any cost? Or I don't know. I mean, if this buyer sounds like somewhat of an abusive buyer, they really want to have that kind of adventure right now, and it's not going to work out. And so what's the price? Or this listing, and the seller says, well, but they say they're going to do it by as low as 1.5%. Like, set your standards high. The faster the better, and the higher the better. And lastly, service. We all here together in the service industry. So probably number 9, and I didn't make that made this up. This is from the MREA, but honestly, number 9 should be the first thing: service. You should lead by service. To have 5-star Amazon-like, hopefully you like the Amazon experience or any other experience, the Costco experience, whatever, 5-star, undisputable level of service, right? Not just to your clients, but to the other agents, the affiliates that supporting you, everybody, A to Z. Service should be impeccable, number 1. Let me just look at the chat for a second. The Ritz-Carlton experience, yes, or whatever it works for you, right? Thank you, Kim. If you feel that there's any important questions, just let me know. I just want to go through that because I only have 20 more minutes. I got this. MRA 80-20. So you probably know the 80-20 rule, right? The Pareto rule. In this specific case, 20% of the action leads to 80% of the results. What does it mean? It means that, if you're going to focus, listen to this, if you're going to focus on the right stuff, on the main things all the time, or mostly during the day, you're going to get better results. That's pretty much it. Okay. So you need to understand the big rocks. You need to know your big rocks as in what are the activities, or what are the, if I had a checklist that if I'll do on a daily basis, day to day, will get me better, faster results. Okay. And it's like John Maxwell had, and you can write it down and Google search it afterwards, the rule of 5. We were talking about it not long ago in one of our producers mindset morning sessions, 8 o'clock, that we have every morning, same Zoom link, by the way. And every day he does the same 5 things, every day, right? So what is that you need to do, right, in your business every single day? And one of the things, for example, is lead generate. Call it whatever you want to call it. Building relationships, reaching out to people, right? Stay in touch, ask for the business, whatever it is. That's one of the things, right? The second thing is building your database. You have to build your database. Database is the fuel of your business. If you don't have a database, you don't have business, right? And so on and so forth. So 20% of the results every day lead to 80% of the 80% of the action taken leads to 80% of the results. Okay. 3 L's, same thing, straight from the MREA book. Listings, leads, leverage. All right. Now, someone might ask, hey, Meny, but I just started and I'm big on buyers, or I love buyers, I don't care about listings. Hey, it's fine, because if you learn the art of real estate, you know that it should be a 50-50 balanced business, meaning 50% listings, 50% buyers. And you can measure that on a monthly basis or annual basis and see like where you stand, what you need to do more of, right? And by the way, the MRA also said that from one listing that you get, you should get 2 more buyers and 1 more listing, right? From every listing, 2 buyers and 1 listing. So you can also measure that as you go and grow. But if you do have the listing, right, then you control the market share, right? So you definitely want to go more after listings. And that's why we at KW, we're enrolling various programs like, the App City, 72 Sold right now is picking up really, really fast. If you're not sure what that is, ask your team leader. 72 Sold, and more programs that are enrolling and will enroll in the following year ahead. Leads, I just mentioned, those kind of some of the programs. Besides that, it's about lead generate. So do you farm? Do you farm enough, right? Do you utilize social media accordingly, etc.? Leverage, understand, and actually I think there's a breakdown on there it is. Lead gen, listings, right? Leverage, right? It's only utilizing the resources to help you just to extend yourself, right? So Meny, I just started, or I've been doing this for a while, but I love to do my own transactions. Well, I hear you, but if you spend 10 to 20 hours per transaction on paperwork, don't you rather pay a TC, $300 to $400, and you can utilize those 10 to 20 hours to get more business, right? And make $500 an hour? That doesn't make any sense, right? Some of the admin work, right? If you have consistent business, you can leverage marketing or what have you to a virtual assistant, right? If you have a bigger team, maybe some of the team members, of course, an admin assistant, which is the first hire anyways, right? So learn how to leverage properly. And remember, the affiliates are part of your team. The title person, home warranty, TC, escrow, right? All those amazing people are part of your team. So the home inspection. So learn how to leverage the team members properly, so you can free yourself up to do more of what? That's right. The 20-80, 80-20. Focus on big rocks so you can generate more business. Focus. Gary said, anyone can do it. not everyone will, right? So true in anything in life. So what are the steps to stay in that focused mindset, right? Number one is create a personal plan. And I'm going to talk about the 411. That's what we use in KW. And that's one thing you need to appreciate. I was last week in Dallas, Texas, and we had our OP meeting. The last one they had an OP meeting was about 30 years ago. I wasn't around. And I mean, in the US. And they spoke about so many different things, technology, things that will come soon down the road this coming year, super exciting stuff we're going to share with you towards the end of the year. But one of the things that you have to appreciate is the culture that this company created around resources, right? Because all of us speak in the same language, and it's our language. It's the KW language, and you don't really see it in different companies, even different industries. It's kind of rare. So take advantage of it, right? Or if you're not sure what it is, give it a shot. And if it didn't work for you, right? That's a different story. Come and, we can have a conversation about that, but give it a shot. So personal plan, number one, time block, and accountability. So how does that look like? So as I mentioned, through the 411 is we want to make our goals tangible, right? We want to have the ability to measure our goals. If we cannot measure them, it's going to be very hard to achieve them. Someone can say, yeah, Meny, but I can ask you, hey, Mary, what do you want to have more of? Because I want to be more, next I want to be happier. Can you measure happiness? Yes, you can. Okay, how can you measure happiness? I'm going to ask Mary, how can you measure happiness? Mary might say, well, travel make me happy. Okay, fantastic. So what is the goal if in a perfect world? Well, I want to travel once a quarter out of the country to a long weekend with Lee. Fantastic. Okay, so that's part of the plan. So it can be measurable. You follow me? And of course, other goals like, I'm going to ask Drake, what is the goal? Well, Drake wanna, next year, right? He want to close 2 escrows a month, 3 escrows a month. Great, it's measurable. You can track it. Make sense? And of course, well, I'm gonna save the big goals to Carlos and Simon. I'm not gonna mess your session later on. Time blocking, that's a big one, right? Yeah, Drake says that's my goal for 1-1. Yes, sir. Time block. Are you in business or in business, right? So look, you have to be realistic about how you're also utilizing your calendar. If you're using a paper calendar, using a Google Calendar, whatever it is, whatever your system is, it's fine, right? As long as you're utilizing it properly. And if you're not a master, listen to this, if you're not a master of time blocking, if you're not mastering the skill of time blocking, you have to. Because remember, once again, go a few slides back, and I said, we're in the business of service. We to give service to who? In your specific case, is to your clients, buyers, sellers, investors. So one of the things that they're looking up to you and see is how you run your life in business, right? Because you are essentially their consultant for business and for life. So if you're going to be a messy entrepreneur, first of all, they will know. Like it shows. Like we can tell. I'm not saying that messy entrepreneurs are not successful entrepreneurs. Some of them are highly successful, but I think it could be much easier if you are, a bit more organized, right? If it makes sense. So time block your goals and what you want to achieve is definitely essential step to success. That's what the MREA leads by. You cannot just figure it out, or when it's come to me, I'll deal with it, whatever. No, you have to be a bit more strategic about it, right? And by the way, it's always easier to move things around versus to figure things out like last minute. So, and again, time is one of the assets that is the most precious, and we cannot reproduce. Once it happened, it happened. That's it. So think about, ask yourself, are you clear about your goals? You're clear about your models, right? Do you schedule time with yourself to go over this? Like every Sunday or every Friday or every Monday, do you go over the week ahead of the month and understand like what you have going on, right? The next part is get accountability. Getting focused is easy, keeping it is not, right? So this is one thing as well that you cannot, well, you can, but you should have more of, is that accountability partner. You can have your team leader, right? Or the ATL. You can have, if you're in the mentor program and you have a few under the same mentor, so your peers. You can have a MAPS coach, right? You can have somebody in the office that you can have the same level of business maybe, or maybe someone with more business than you that's willing to hold you accountable. Someone always got to pull you up and push you further, because even if you might be the most disciplined person on earth, you still won't be able to get out of yourself more than what someone else will if they're going to keep pushing you. You follow me? So that's really one of the recipes for success, and I cannot express enough how important that is. So, I already see that Drake team up with Mary, fantastic. So find your accountability partner, right? So that's essential for success. And there's like a circle, like a loop, right, for accountability. And you can take a picture of that if you want. Number one is set goals, then do the key activities, right? 80-20. Measure results. That's another key, a massive key to success. By the way, measure results, it means that I have a farm, and I have in my farm 500 homes, and I want to door knock them, let's say once a month. Well, you can measure it. So then every month, you're going to see what you've done or what you didn't do, right? Or let's say you want to close 2 escrows a month. Same thing. You can measure that, right? Or you want to increase your database by 200 people every single month, right? So the next step will be to evaluate the process to see, did you hit the goals? Did you got those results done? Or maybe you didn't. In that process, by the way, you can also measure conversion rates. Write it down, conversion rates. Why is it important? Because then you can know, well, for every 20 doors that I don't knock, or let's say for every 10 doors that I knock, I got 1 conversation. And for every 8 conversation, I got a potential lead. And for every 3 leads, I get a listing. So you know exactly how many doors you need to knock to get a listing. You follow me? So those are conversions. Same thing apply to open houses and whatever it is in your agenda, that you lead generate. And then the last part is make adjustments, fine tune. So don't be stubborn. Like if things don't work well, change, adjust, adapt, figure it out. If things working well, do more of those things. Don't forget what makes you successful. Keep doing more of that. You can also adjust that accordingly. Bit of a deeper dive on the 411, right? So the 411, I'm just going to go to my example over here. So it's going to show you at the top, the way that's more of a visual, and you can go to any of our hub websites, for example, kwsouthbayhub.com, kwcoastalhub.com, kwlaharborhub.com, and look at the last tab, resources, and you have on the right hand side the button that says business planning tools, and it's right over there. And what we do is we take at the very top, we take the annual goal that we want to achieve. And you can, again, tangible, we can measure them. You can see on the left, those are the business goals. On the right, those are personal goals. And then we can divide those by 12, and we can get the monthly goals. And the week, it goes more of a, we're not going to divide by 52, but some of them we can, but here is more of the activities that we need to do on a weekly basis or daily basis to achieve those goals. So then it's more attainable, right? Because when I say, let's say the agents say, I want to, produce 15 mil volume of business. It seems a lot if you never did it before, or if you're a new agent, right? Or if your price point maybe is not as high, or I want to do like 36 open houses a year. You're like, oh my God, just wait for the first one. I can barely get my once a week or what have you. Well, if you break it down, it kind of is the pressure mentally on what you need to do, because you're focusing on the day-to-day or on the week. Make sense? And that's where the time blocking complements that, because you have to show up not for the whole year. You have to show up only every single day. Okay, so that's the 411. And again, if you need more of a hand holding and one-on-one on the 411, see your team leader. Okay, maybe you can do like another session. The last part of it is create an action plan. Some, you might hear that. Kim, can you put on the chat? Let's say this, whatever, the South Bay, link, or just the link to the actual folder, right? If you're gonna copy it from the actual hub, the link to the folder on the Zoom. Create an action plan.
411 an action plan.
I'm gonna do it in a few minutes. Create an action plan, or the 135. That's you might hear it as a 135, right? So when we're talking about the create an action plan, we're referring to the 3 specific tasks. It's kind of linked to the 411. It's where you want to have, again, measurable goals, right? So how do you create the specific, like, what do I want to do? So you create, focus on 3 specific tasks for every goal, and then set up dates, right? Like the due date. I need to do this by this time, by this date, etc., etc. Of course, you have to have an accountability partner, right? And commit to take action. How do you commit to take action? Well, it's up to you. I mean, if you're disciplined enough to show up and get the job done that some of you need to do, some of you, I don't know, maybe feel like doing it, or maybe it's additional business or what have you. But some people you need, it's a need. You have to make it happen, right? Thanks, Kim. So maybe you can have some kind of I don't know. If you're not gonna do this, write a check to your accountability partner, right? Drake, write a check to Mary, $250 every time that you're not fulfilling whatever it is. Mary, you're gonna have amazing vacations next year. Hopefully not. I mean, not because of that, right? But hold yourself to a high standard on the accountability part. So, and again, have the right like-minded partner. So not just you having fun with it, but also you're able to achieve it in high level, right? The last part, triaging your goals from now until the end of the year. So do this exercise, right? Rank your goals that you had, let's say, for this year so far. And of course, you can do the same thing for 2023. And then cut or spread your goals to 3 categories. Whatever you achieved already, whatever is on track to be achieved, and off target. Okay, personal and business. And then whatever is off target, create a separate priority list for that specific list to understand what happened, right? And then see, hey, we still have X amount of weeks, by the year, end of the year, I don't know, like 9, 8 weeks, what have you. See if you can still hit those goals, right? And then condition yourself the same way for the following year. Why? Because if you kind of smelled already the end of the year, the holidays, etc., it doesn't mean that it's done deal. Again, you have to adjust. That's the MREA mindset to success. Okay. And with that, I nailed my 30 minutes. I don't see any other questions.
That was great. That was great, Meny.
Awesome. And by the way, just shout out to all the offices. Awesome turnout. So guys, thank you for showing up. Over Zoom, and of course, also personally in the office. So, Holly, take it from here.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm excited. First of all, Kim, can you enable screen sharing so I can pull up the presentation? or whoever's hosting. There we go. You guys have to see our picture. Otherwise, how do you know who we are?
Really, because everybody here has never met us.
Awesome. Okay, Deb, take it away.
All right, so we're going to be talking about business assessment. Bring your business to the next level. And of course, those of you in Zoom land, I'm Deborah Bell. I'm the assistant team leader here at the KW Coastal office. And of course, our team leader, the famous Hallie Hardy.
Famous. So I guess you tag that on there.
Yeah.
Not even need. I love it. Great. So let's get started. Change. Change is hard for some people, right? The important thing is creating change creates growth. So, you know, change is essentially moving from a current reality, okay, to a different future state. That literally is the definition. I know it sounds really simple, but if it were simple, everyone would be doing it. Why is it complicated? Because everyone is always trying to change and to grow, right? So you come in with a lot of different, strategies. Let's wave a magic wand and say that you could interview every CEO, every CFO, every COO in every major Fortune 500 company. And you ask them this question: what do you want to change about your organization this quarter? I guarantee you, none of them are going to say nothing, right? They spend tireless hours, thousands of dollars, and lots of manpower to create the opportunity of what it looks like to change and to grow. No one wants to die, and on their epitaph it says, remains the status quo, right? Kept being regular. Thank you, Siri. Kept being regular, right? Marginally grew their business year after year. That's not something that we wanted to say, right? You guys are all extraordinary, and we can achieve so much better. Deborah, do you want to read the quote in there?
Sure. Gary Keller said, a different result requires doing something different. And this brought to mind, I'm sure everybody's heard the definition of insanity by Albert Einstein.
Over and over.
Exactly. Doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. We have to embrace change and change with it.
But that's why we need a business assessment as realtors, right?
Exactly.
It has to be
Exactly.
incorporated into our daily and monthly and yearly activity, right? So let's talk about the different types of change. Since you guys are so excited about change, let me move this little Zoom guy here so I can see this. So there's really two types of change. That didn't help there. There's really two types of change. There's proactive and there's reactive change. So change is pertinent to the ingredient of growth, right? Because believe it or not, proactive change is positive, right? Even reactive change can be positive. The important part is that really, even though reactive change is a bit more in contrast, it's more risky and there's potential negative impacts, because it can tend to be more volatile, we still have the opportunity to grow and react in ways that we can positively impact our business. So proactive change is really about consistently moving forward in a current reality to an improved future state. Reactive change is about adjusting your reality in the face of a threat or an opportunity, right? Proactive is our offensive line, reactive is our defensive line, right? You guys are football people. I love that. But either way, the change really both need to be planned and both need to be executed very well. So Deborah?
So how do you plan change? The short answer is careful.
Short and simple answer, right? But the long answer is really you have to have clarity on both your current state and desired future state. So with that, you can take a step back and make true proactive change, and you can perfect it and be aware of your current business realities, right? To conduct a business assessment. So to put it in another way, you can't solve solutions for gaps if you don't know where the gaps are, right?
I think that also brings to mind, and I've shared this before on the morning producer's mindset, the 6 Ps, which is something that my youngest daughter had taught me. You know, proper prior planning prevents poor performance. So if we want to succeed and grow, we must plan. If we're not planning, you know, Meny talked about the 1-3-5, and it's actually another name for that is the GPS. One goal, 3 priorities, and then 5 strategies to support those priorities as to how you're going to do, what you're going to do to achieve those goals. And if we aren't putting a 1, 3, 5 in place, we could be floundering. We may be lost. So proper prior planning prevents poor performance.
I love it. Deb,
All
what's
right.
a business assessment? Now we know they're so important. What's a business assessment?
The systemized procedural analysis and reporting of key performance indicators, or KPIs, that can accurately communicate your current reality, opportunities, and the gaps in between.
So, in short, it's kind of like going to a doctor checkup visit, right? So keeping with this analogy, and you go into the doctor, this isn't one of those quick trips to emergent care, right? You guys know that, quick care, right? You go in and out, they ask you a couple questions, they get you on your way because they're solving one problem. Think about this more like an elongated doctor's process that you go in and answer dozens of uncomfortable questions. They poke, they prod you, and guess what? You have to wait 2 weeks to get your results. That's a business assessment, right? It breaks everything down there. So what KPIs should you be using? We're going to go over that in just a little bit. But just to say, if it takes you only a couple minutes to look up these KPIs and to create this business assessment, we're doing it wrong. We're missing the gap, right? This is something that should be well thought out, something that should be multifaceted, and we're going to get into all those facets. So now that we know what a business assessment is, I think the important thing is to figure out what a business assessment is not, right? There are a lot of misconceptions in what goes into a business assessment. So a business assessment is not just statistics. So statistics are going to be a part of it, but it's definitely not the main format, right? Statistics examples being, I sold this many houses, I brought in this many leads into my business. Yes, it's a part of the overall business assessment, but it's not the main function. And it's not just pulse and temperature. It's something so much deeper, right? It's definitely not a strategic assessment. Yes, strategy is key, but it's not the overall assessment. Actually, the important thing is before you create a strategy assessment, you really want to do your overall business assessment first, right? Don't put the chicken before the egg or the cart before the horse, other anecdotes. But really, the assessments are the first thing that should be done before you create strategy. How do you know where you need to go and what you need to do if you really don't have the accurate picture of where you are?
And that's why we always encourage you, track your numbers.
Yeah.
If you're not tracking your numbers, like how many doors does it take to knock and get a conversation going? How many phone calls, how many dials do you need to make in order to get a conversation going? And note those because you'll see they'll become a pattern. What time of day are you knocking? What time of day are you calling? All of those things are going to lead into proper planning the next time you go out and do that.
Some things to take into consideration too as you're creating your statistics and your strategies, asking yourself some of these questions. Have you just hired a new marketing person or a new marketing director? Maybe it's a new team member. Maybe it's maybe it's investing in some type of new lead generation opportunity you have through the office. All of those things should be inclusive in the business assessment, right? So it's not a financial assessment. I know Meny went over a little bit, but I know Simon and Carlos are going to go over the budget model and the things like that later, but it's not just a financial assessment. P&Ls, how much money you've made this year, your GCI, that is one small piece of the giant pie that we're looking at, right? And again, a financial assessment should be done monthly, right? If you're just doing a financial assessment, you should be doing it monthly. It's not a marketing assessment. This isn't something about the effectiveness of your marketing, social media, etc. Again, that's a part of it. And then it's definitely not a tactical assessment. This is something that I see a lot. A tactical assessment is the actual physical tools that you're using in order to be able to complete your job, right? So it's the technology that you use. It's the, Cindy, I remember you putting something, it's the letter folder thing that you do before you set, that's tactical, right? Those are tools that you move to create your business.
I think one of the things when she created that slide and showed it to me that came to mind, it was like, sometimes we forget we're a business owner.
Right.
You're not working for me or for Hallie. You're working for yourself, for your families. And we forget that we have to do the whole picture, as she says, of the assessment, find out where we are, what we need to do, what we need to adjust in order to help us grow in the next year. And we forget that. we feel that we're just realtors out there selling houses, which is not a just, but at the same time, we are the owners of our business. So we have to do these assessments on a regular basis. When she said monthly, I was just like, what? But yes, yes, we do. You need to be assessing things monthly so that you are making certain that you are on track. You know,
Yeah.
you're hitting the goals that you are striving to do.
I love that. So Deb,
Tools and systems. Where do we start?
so now that I have y'all convinced, let me show you one of the favorite systems that a lot of people in the business world use. Business schools study this. In my opinion, it's the one that fits the best. Let me move this again. That fits the best for realtors. Okay, it's called the SWOT method. SWOT. Not like the SWAT that will come in the black suits and the vest and the thing, Dinos. Right? But it's pronounced the same way, right? It's pronounced the same way. So, you know, we love our acronyms here. So S, what does S stand for? So S stands for your strengths. That's where you want to sit down and you want to assess, what are your strengths? What are you good at? What are your capabilities, right? What do you have strong market share? You know, break all those things down, and we're going to give you a tool just a little bit later. It's pretty self-explanatory. Weaknesses. Remember, go beyond the obvious with your weaknesses. Look at financial weaknesses. Look at technological weaknesses, right? Some of those things, technological weaknesses, for example, might be, have you updated and started using Command, one of the most innovative CRMs that's independently owned by a real estate company, right?
And much easier to use than you may realize. I shied away, but I am embracing it now.
Yeah, so make sure you're looking at all facets of the things that are coming in there, right? Weaknesses. Opportunities. So this is your best shot for growth over the next 12 to 24 months. So you want to sit down and say, hey, where are my opportunities for income and growth right now? Maybe it's implementing a new lead system like 72 Sold. Maybe it's creating a secondary or tertiary farm to be able to feed and to get you more listings or to get you more buyer leads, right? Assess the opportunities that you have that are going to be measurable and applicable for your next 12 to 24 months. Okay, look at the opportunities. And the last one is threats, right? These are going to be immediate dangers that are going to affect the viability of your business. So again, this isn't threats like some, you know, super bad guy hopping out of the ceiling and, you know, holding you captive. These are things that can be personally or professionally. For example, large financial debt, you might have to declare bankruptcy. Large things, you had an exodus in your team of teammates, and now you have too many leads and you can't service them. Threats could be your own physical health if you're going through something, you know, something major, cancer, surgery, etc. All of those things count in the threats category. Okay. So moving on to the next slide. There we go. So you know that we like to do an extra here at the office and here at Coastal, right? So of course we have to have an extra T in there. So really SWOT, in my opinion, has two T's. This is something that's kind of a new addition to the acronym. It is getting widely accepted, and I think it is the most applicable thing you could add on as a realtor business right now with that extra T. And what does that T stand for? That stands for trends. Trends, okay? When you're sitting down and doing the SWOT analysis, you want to take a look at what trends are happening in the real estate industry. Now, what are some of the things that we can look at? Where people are moving? Is the purchase price going down? You know, interest rates going up? How's that affecting? Are people buying newer turnkey houses? Are they looking for houses that may need a little bit of extra work and they're going through the HGTV phase where they're wanting to flip things and make money? All of those things are considered trends. Your marketing, etc. A good example of a company, did anyone ever remember Kodak? Yeah.
Many years ago.
Right, many years ago. Kodak is a great example, right? Back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, even 90s, Kodak was
I see Shireen smiling. It's like, yeah,
I love that. Of course, a Kodak moment, right? That was the thing. Kodak failed to look at what? A trend. A big trend. And what was that? Digital, right? They kept the original integrity of what film looked like. They kept building their brand. They kept making new products, yet they failed to look at and to shift in what they thought was a trend or a fad. Same thing, internet. Did anyone remember the internet came out? Do you guys remember what people said about it? It's a trend. It's a fad, right? The internet's going to be the thing. And now here we're all on Zoom.
Yeah.
Right? Many of us are thousands of miles apart. So take that same application. Don't be a Kodak, right? Be the internet. Look at the trend. Shift with your clients. Take all those things and write them down.
That Kodak moment. I don't think they realized how they were limiting themselves when they created the have a Kodak moment. Yeah. 'cause
I still have pictures that you flip over the back and it's like Kodak, Kodak, Kodak,
Oh, yeah.
right? I mean,
Oh,
that
yeah.
was a brand.
Yeah.
The camera, do you remember when you have to go to wind the film before you took the picture? Yeah, no, some of you. Some of you.
I'm like, yeah.
Maybe that was an Idaho thing. I don't know.
I know. Yeah, along with that fireball.
Oh, great. I love it. So Deborah,
Okay.
what's this slide back?
Yeah, so this one is, you all have a copy of this. Oh, they can see the slide. So you have a copy of the business skills assessment. So what this is for you to take and make an assessment of yourselves. Find out, where are you when it comes to prospecting? Do you fall under excellent, good, fair, or room to improve? I think that if you go down this, you're going to find that you might have a lot of room to improve if you're being honest with yourself. And you need to be honest with yourself during this time. Converting calls, lead follow-up, buyer presentations, qualifying buyers, negotiating. All of these are skills that you want to assess. Legal issues, administrative work, delegating. Take the time to complete this and identify where there are areas that you might feel a little weak in. Maybe you need to turn to one of our mentors, our top producers, team leader, myself. Come and chat with us and see what we can do to help you itemize all of these assessments. There's also a section, this is part of those, right? Yes. So the buyers, you have, do you have a finely tuned buyer consultation? You have a consultation that is ready to go. Should you meet somebody in the next 24 hours, that I had so many new agents that will come and say, I'm meeting with a new buyer. I don't know what to say. Where's your buyer consultation? I haven't created it. Can you help me create it?
Yeah.
And it's, of course, there are some already pre-made in command. We have the buyer consultation, the listing agreement. Are you working with enough buyers? Do you need to generate more leads? Take the time to go over these and complete them and let us know, as I said, if we could be assistance to help you.
One of the favorite things about, the office and the things that we support here is you could come down and sit in front of any of our leadership teams or mentors, et cetera, fill out this assessment and hand it to us and go, okay, can you help me fill in the gaps? The things that I rated a 0 or needs big improvement, we can prescribe models. We can help send you to classes that are going to help with this. We can coach you individually, right? We can get you connected to a MAPS coach. This is really in depth, and I know it's going to be a lot of help for you guys. It's going to make you maybe think about things that you don't already have in your business put into play.
That you may not have thought about.
Yeah, that you may not have thought about.
It's a great, I like to call them mind joggers, because it's actually gonna, like, there's one in here that, do you have a system to stay in touch with past clients? A lot of us, we have done a great, I still get calls from Pennsylvania and I've been back out here for 8 years. So it's kind of nice to see those calls come in. But have a plan in place and this will help you.
Awesome. Kim's also dropped in the chat for you Zoomies. If you guys didn't scan the code, you should be good. And like I said, complete this.
The code will be for this particular handout, correct?
Yes.
I'm sorry? Sure.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry. I like to be Banner once in a while.
There you go. Great. So that really is the prescription for the SWO, right? So let's talk a little bit about some of the other things that we have here at Keller Williams that are going to help you assess your business. So the first one is the multi-year trends. How many of you guys have looked up or used this tool or technique in your business? Kelly, of course, she's been with the company for a while.
Not of course, only like 1 or 2 times, but it was
Still
very valuable.
But I'm
She's
saying
been
it's
there.
very valuable, right? So all of us Keller Williams agents have access to this report called multi-year trends, right? You get to this report by going to mykw.kw.com and you're gonna put in all your login information. It's gonna be under the reports tab. If you guys need help finding this, talk to any of your front desks, your MCAs, your team leaders, and we can help you get this report. And what this report is gonna share is it's gonna share with you all of your key metrics that you've had since becoming an agent at Keller Williams. In fact, it will go back for the last 12 years. Okay, so it's going to share things like how many contracts have you written, how many sales have you closed, how many buy sides have you closed, what your GCI is every year. So it's going to give you a lot of those metrics that you may or may not be tracking already, that we track in Cindy Transmits, our MCA, every single month. Okay, so all that stuff is there available to you.
Commands. We're back at command. I told you, command is going to become your very best friend. In opportunities, you can also, that's where you start your transactions, or your TC will create the transactions when you have escrows. And in there, you also will see the tracking system. It will have your numbers, where you are, where you were, how you're growing. So definitely go in and drop down a little bit. I think it's on the first page, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and how many people do you have in your pipeline? It's going to tell you your projected GCI for the year. I mean, according to what you have in the database and pipeline, it is so intuitive that when you really dig in deep and make sure you're filling out all of that information, it gives you stuff that can track. And Meny talked about goals, right? You can implement that into the commands, and that's going to take your goals and it's going to take your pipeline and see if they match, right? Because we can make some arbitrary number, but if we know we don't have the leads in the business to be able to achieve that, is it really relevant? Is it attainable? Right? Meny talked about setting those goals earlier. So I love that. Great. These 3 ones down at the bottoms are some of my favorites. The org model, right? So that's another great system for an assessment. All 3 of these models are found in the MREA, or the Millionaire Real Estate Agent, the red book, kind of like what Meny was talking about earlier. Deborah has hers, and it's tabbed and highlighted, and
It
looks like the dog chewed it up, but
you can tell it's Brett a picture.
it's the book, right? But the organization model, that's going to be able to assess, are you properly leveraged? Do you have the right people in your world to be able to support the growth in your business? You have to sit down and ask those questions. Who's going to be your first hire, right? What's going to happen when I get some leads that come into my business? Who's going to service them? Maybe it's hiring an admin. Maybe it's hiring a listing assistant. Maybe it's hiring another buyer's agent. Maybe it's just utilizing your TC and your loan officer in the best way possible. All of those things are going to be found in the organization model in the 7 levels. Okay. Budget model. I'm not going to go too much into this because I know Simon and Carlos are going to be talking about this later, but the budget model, again, is another model in the MREA where you're essentially tracking things like your expenses, your income, and then you're making sure it's in alignment with something that's going to be easily supported year after year and match up with the same version and the same models that we see when Gary wrote that book. From millionaires, right? He sat down and he interviewed multiple people all across the US at millionaires and asked them all these questions and found similarities. Okay. That's where the budget model comes into play. 30, 30, 40. The economic model. Deborah loves this one.
I do. I really do like this. How many appointments do you need? You know, how many calls have you gone on, buyers and sellers, etc. In the MREA book, on page 131, it shows you the economic model. So this in particular, I don't know if we can see it up there. There we go. On page 131, but we also have it electronically, where we can drop your numbers in, where you've been, and get you to where you want to go by just assessing things. So
where would we find that?
Where would we find
the digital one?
I believe it's on the KW Coastal Hub.
It is. It's on your hub page, right? That Meny and those guys started going like.
I have to tell you, when I first came to Coastal with Meny, I would ask for things, and he's like, "It's on the shares folder." I go in, I find it in the shares folder. Next day, I'd have something else. Meny, where do I find? It's on the shares folder. It was on the shares folder. I finally decided to go to the shares folder first. Now you ask for something, and everybody will be, "It's on KW Coastal Hub." So use your KW Coastal Hub.
Or your resources page.
There's so much information there. So definitely, but it really is a great tool to help you to see where you've been, especially if you've been tracking your numbers. You're going to know what you're going to need to grow into the next year.
I love that. The economic model is makes things so much more tangible, right? It takes your gross GCI goal and says, this is exactly how many appointments I need in order to be able to make that GCI goal. Then you actually combined it with the budget model or the 30-30-40 to make sure that your expenses are included in there. And we take our what? Gross commission income, and we subtract our expenses, and then we're gonna get our actual net income. That's the number that really affects our household, right? It's great that we earn hypothetical money that's coming into our business, but at the end of the day, we want what money is going in our bank account, right? And then it also takes things and factors into consideration, like the wonderful government that takes out like 30% in taxes of our income. All of those things need to be factored as you're creating all of those manageable steps, right? I know we talked a little bit about that. Cool. Well, that's really the end of it. We've got a couple of minutes left. So again, I hope you guys got something out of this. Remember, business assessment shouldn't be scary. It shouldn't take just a minute or two. Use the SWOT. I'm telling you, it's going to be a really good starting point for you. Use this tools. This business skills assessment is your starting point to assess your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities. Some resources that we can use for trends. We know we have things, lots of resources, like we have the Altos reports, right, that you can use for those trends. Ask lots of your clients, do lots of questions and questionnaires. Where are you moving? Why are you moving when you're meeting with them? That's all data that can be used as trends. Make sure you're looking at things like HGTV and social media. What type of physical trends are we seeing, right? And then make sure you guys measure and apply everything in your business in that way. I love it. Any other comments?
Questions?
Questions? Comments?
Is everybody ready to get started? Sit tight. We have a couple more presentations.
I love that. You guys, no questions in South Bay? Look at that full room over there. I love it. Okay, who's next?
I think Mary.
Yours truly.
Yay.
Hi guys. We miss ya. Okay, Kim, can I get sharing capability, please?
You can.
Awesome. Yep. See it. All right, let's get this party started. How is everyone? Congratulations, y'all. We've made it, what are we now, 1 hour in? So you guys are still here. It looks like everyone's still awake and engaged. Man, talking about two powerful sessions. So I hope that you're ready for the next two with me. My name is Mary King. Those of you that don't know me, I am the team leader for KWLA Harbor. And I'm so excited to be here with you all this afternoon. We're gonna go ahead and kick it off. We're talking about our best real estate marketing plan. 3 essentials for 2023. We are in October. Actually, we're pretty much done with October, which means that we only have November and December to plant our seed. I talk about this quite frequently recently. Those of you that jump on our morning calls and during my sessions, I'm constantly talking about, planting your seed and making sure that, you're preparing yourself now. So all your, everything comes into fruition in the next couple of months.
Hey, Mary.
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt you. Do you want to enlarge or present your?
Oh, yes, slideshow. Sorry.
No problem.
I know. Here we go. There we go. Thanks, Kim. Appreciate it. So we'll kick it right off. Not as a lot of it is going to be, just making sure that you are aware of what's happening, and we're setting you all up for success, and hence why you're all here today as well. So we will go ahead and kick it off. So real quick, show of hands, pop in on the chat or scream it inside the room. Who is currently using a social media calendar today? Do any of you? Perfect. Okay, I see some hands going up. Good, congratulations. That's good because you're already setting yourself up for success. And just like Hallie and Deborah mentioned, and also Meny, is that time blocking, making sure that we're doing things purposefully and putting it on our calendar is so important. And social media is no different than lead generation, making sure we're doing our calls, and all of that is also very, very crucial to our business. But also we have to make sure that we're monopolizing on our market today, but also the tools and systems that's happening today. Social media has blown up probably in the last, I don't know, decade or so on a high level where a lot of clients are now utilizing it. So if we're not in front of them, what do we always say? Out of sight, out of mind. If you're not constantly in front of them, you're going to be really upset when your neighbor lists your house or lists their home and they didn't use you. Or you're going to get really upset when your cousin uses another agent and not you. Because we've all been there. Let's call it for what it is, right? We're just going to call it how it is. So we want to make sure that we're setting ourselves up, and we need to make sure that our calendar is all set up for our social media. Hallie was so amazing. I know she was in Coastal and in South Bay. She will be coming to LA Harbor. So my LA Harbor agents, stay tuned, but she did an amazing Reels class, and Hallie will be coming over and teaching our market center shortly as well. And let me tell you, a lot of the agents that had attended her class has already seen tractions and also building that following or their followers as well. Okay. All right. So we'll kind of breeze through the calendar real quick. On Sundays, that's where you plan a lot of your content, right? For the following week. You don't have to post every day on every channel. Use an Excel to organize your thoughts, track, whatever works for you. If you're a hard copy person, you need to write it down, go for it. Monday, you prep your contacts, you finish all your calendar, you create your imagery, your source, your links, everything. And then if you have a team, you want to get your team up to speed on that, making sure that they know what's going to happen for that week. Okay. On Tuesday, it's measurement day. You check your various profiles, you know, how much your fan base has grown, a summary. Remember, everything is measurable, including this program as well. Okay. Wednesday, we want to share any of upcoming open houses to give people a chance to plan for their weekend. Again, clients are always online, and if you're in front of them, then they're going to see what's going to happen in their world as well. Just like us, we have to plan ahead. Well, so does our clients. They need to plan ahead, especially if they're happy, they have a full-time job, they have families. Weekends are really tough for a lot of people, right? Baseball practice, soccer games, you know, cheerleading, and then on top of, you know, birthdays, family dinner, the whole 9 yards. So we want to make sure that we also give them plenty of time to prep for their weekend. Thursday is the promotion, 1 to 2 of your posts from the week. You know, choose from what you're proud of, and obviously that have the most engagements, you know, and just kind of having a correspondence online. Friday, you stalk your clients. I know that sounds silly, but you know, you really do. You want to know who who your clients are. So you start checking their LinkedIn, you start engaging with them, you participate in a lot of the, you know, the groups, the conversations, and again, just staying in front of them. And Saturday, you take pictures of your open houses and you kind of just launch that. And a lot of you I've seen, not just Saturday, I've seen some that kicks off on Friday. I know a couple of my agents, they start their videos on Fridays, and then you do the call to action. I have an open house on Saturday, open house on Sunday, or hey, I have the new listings that's coming up, or whatever the case is. All right. Let's see. Okay, so that was our calendar. Now, another important thing, kind of coincide with the reels, you know, social media video. A raise of hand, if you're somewhat like me, I'm breaking out of my shell, that are a little nervous when I'm in front of a camera and doing a video, because I know I am. Oh my God, I know I'm seeing so many hands. Good, you're not alone, I promise. I'm working on it too, okay? Right? I know, Simon. So I'm working on it. Anyone that has met me personally, a friend, you know, face to face, my thing is that I'm an adult, and I currently have braces on. Well, that is kind of my, you know, self-conscious. I'm like, oh my God, I have train tracks going on. Do I really want my clients or, you know, people to see an adult with braces on? And one of our agent in our office is like, you know what? That's okay, because that's who you are. And you know what? He nailed it. It's true. It's who we are. And it doesn't matter if we, you know, we've just, one of my agents, she literally spent an entire day staging a home, and she's like, Mary, I was sweaty, and you know, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go ahead and do it. And she got so many engagements, and and we're so proud of her. And you know, it's just one of those things where don't think, just do, right? So this particular slide, it's all about shooting content. Now, I know some of it, it can be a little vigorous. So you are releasing videos every day, but remember, you don't have to release it every day. You don't have to be shooting every day because that is a lot. That is, I mean, that's just a lot of time. So what you would be doing is you would, you know, from when you're planning your calendar, you also want to plan when you want to do your content. Break it down. And sometimes you can do it, you know what, maybe I'll do 2 or 3 a day. Or if you're, you know, if you're like, you know what, I feel good today, I feel like I'm beautiful and handsome, I'm just gonna lay out my outfits and let me just go ahead and shoot it all through. And you can actually do that as well. So if you have your calendar in front of you right now, I want to do something with y'all. I want you to pick a day towards the end of the month. And you're going to write 30 days worth of short contents. Okay, what does that mean? Well, that means, what am I going to talk about in front of the camera? Am I talking about the market? Am I talking about the interest rate? Am I talking about what's happening in my market center? Am I talking about a training that I'm currently in that my clients should know? Hey, if you're taking a probate training, don't you think that you want to let your clients know just in case if they need assistance on that, right? So we'll take a quick minute. I'll set my alarm right now. We'll write 30 days worth of short content. And then I would love to hear from 1 to 2 people on what, just 1 or 2 things that you have written. So I'm gonna set my alarm and let's go ahead and do this. Ooh, everybody's all scribbling. I love it. And remember, it doesn't have to be fancy or anything like that. Just what comes to your mind and you're like, you know what? I think my client would want to see this. I think my friends and family would want to know this information. Or my newer agents, or all of our newer agents that had joined our family and our organization, perhaps a short video of, I just joined, KW, or I just joined my market center. I am a real estate agent now, and I'm super excited to assist you, whatever the case is. All right, 5 seconds left. That's awesome, Greg. I love that. Okay, time. Who is brave enough to share 2 things that they wrote? Don't be shy.
Yeah, we have one here. Oh,
Awesome. Okay, South Bay first and then Coastal.
I see how it is, but okay.
Yeah.
Let's go. Go ahead.
I'm going to be shooting a video following Thursday with this lady that I just teamed up. She's a director of probate trust and divorce. So we're going to be shooting a video and giving some information to our clients.
I love that. And you know what? It's really, really sad to say, but I can tell you those 2 topics are very, very, very in demand at the moment.
Right.
So that's amazing. That is amazing. Okay, and one more from you. What else?
Right here. I didn't write it down. Her name's Allie. I didn't write it down, but on Saturday, I'm actually giving keys to someone that I leased the property. So I'm gonna ask them permission to see if I can shoot a video and giving them the keys and saying, yeah.
I love that. That is amazing. And you know what? Those contents are so powerful as well. Again, real life, face to face, so to speak, right? A client seeing that, wow, I can't believe Allie just, closed this deal, physically handing over the keys and, congratulating her client and going above and beyond that extra mile instead of just saying, oh yeah, well, your keys are left on, I don't know, the counter or whatever the case is. And believe it or not, we've seen that happen as well. So that is amazing. Thank you. Okay, Hallie, Coastal.
I'm gonna do a video about interest rates.
Mm-hmm.
Telling my customers, about the current market because they're always changing. And then I'm also gonna do a video about, the home buyers guide, the first time home buyers guide, because a lot of people don't know it exists. So
Right.
do a video showing them, what it is and links to where they can, access it and to let them know what to expect inside.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. You guys, these are all great, great content. And I promise you, it is going to get engagements. Clients are going to be very appreciative on the things that you're doing. The more you do these videos, the more you're going to get comfortable. But in addition to that, you're going to start noticing what you put out there is going to be so powerful and so valuable as well. Just get over the shyness, get over the fear. But it sounds like our group, we don't really have a problem with that anymore, which is really great. So I cannot wait to see all your videos out there and just kind of roll with the punches. All right, I love it. A lot of it. I mean, these are great, great contents. Another one, rent versus buy. An agent of mine came up to me and just an idea as well. He's actually going to be speaking to a renter and a homeowner, and they're doing a small video on that as well. So sometimes it doesn't really have to be you. You can utilize your friends, your family, your peers. We're all here to support you. So, okay, perfect. Thank you for that. Love it. All right. So,
Mary, can I share some ideas too?
absolutely.
That maybe people aren't thinking of. So one that's a unique idea that not a lot of people are doing is, remember, you guys sitting in here for 2 hours learning about your business should be a 10-second reel or class. Hey, I just got out of this awesome session and I learned how I can be the best realtor for my clients. Here's what I learned, right? You sit through a class, that should be a video. All being education-based is a part of your value proposition. And it's
Absolutely.
so easy and simple that you can kind of recap that. Also, another good one for trending stuff is interview business owners. That's a big one. Business owners in the areas that you serve and the people that you work with, they get a ton of traction. Tag them in it. Lots of times they'll even help support and do something so you can do a giveaway, etc. But again, it's easy, it's simple. Hey, I just want to feature you as a local business for 30 seconds. Can you just tell me what it is? Maybe I can show a project, etc. So those are 2 right now that are really big that I'm not seeing a lot, but those that are posting them are getting big success and lots of engagement from their social media content.
Absolutely. And you know what? Hallie nailed it. And especially the local businesses, I can promise you, we talk about community service. We talk about KW Cares all the time. That's also another way of supporting our local businesses to make sure that we're helping them drum up more business so they can continue serving the community, right? And these are things that, people love helping people. That's the honest reality. And that's also why we're in this business, because we are here to help others as well. And all of you come off so genuine that anything that you do, they just know that it comes from the purest heart, right? So that will literally just magnify through your videos as well. Love that. Thank you. Perfect. Okay. So we'll just kind of scan through this real quick. Filming space, it doesn't have to be one location. I mean, it sounds like we're kind of all over, which is great, catching all sorts of sceneries. And another thing too is that we all live in such a beautiful, beautiful cities, right? I mean, the South Bay, you got the beaches, LA Harbor, we got the hills, and in Long Beach, you guys got the coast. Man, you will never be shorted. You will never have a shortage of locations to shoot. And go out there and just have some fun. Sometime put in some bloopers, like, what is it? Reality versus Instagram, or however it is, make it fun, make it exciting. So then you can, because you want to continue to do it. But when it's not fun and if it feels like work, then that's when you kind of lose your momentum and your steam. So just make sure you're having a good time. Okay, let's go ahead and move on. All right. Has anyone ever heard of Ken Pozak? So he is, I consider him as a social media guru. He's out of Orlando. And ironically, with Hallie's idea, it kind of coincides with a quick video that I do want to show y'all. It is something, he's so amazing, and he lives in Orlando. So I'm going to share this video real quick. It's about 8 minutes, but I think he is so good. And just goes to show you, he has a t-shirt on with a Mickey Mouse. I mean, we don't always have to have a suit and tie on, right? We don't always have to have perfect hair and perfect makeup. And he's a prime example. Just go out and do it. So I'm going to share this with you real quick.
Lives is, Ken, tell me about Orlando and the walkable communities that I should know about. Now, here's the thing. Orlando in general is not massively walkable, but there are 5 or 6 areas that if you want that lifestyle to be able to go walk to a restaurant, walk to a bar, or just kind of get to know your neighbors by walking around town, that you should probably know about if you're thinking about moving to Orlando. Stay tuned. I said, so it's called the Donut Shop, but it's not the donut shop. It's a vinyl record player shop, which I'm a huge fan. Hey, how are you? Good. I think that's the one.
Win at work by communicating
Sorry about that.
with Grammarly. Meet Todd. He is emailing.
So let's define walkable, right? I think a lot of people think that if they can live, work, and play in the same vicinity as their house, that that's actually a walkable community. We don't really have a ton of those here in Orlando, unfortunately. But what you do have is amazing cities and neighborhoods like this. Today we're in Winter Park, starting off our list of houses of walkable communities. And you can see people walk in, they're looking at shopping, eating, and they probably could live within a mile of here and find amazing homes. Now, Winter Park's the most expensive real estate in all of Central Florida. You have homes that are townhomes ranging from 2 to 3 million, all the way up to some of the most expensive real estate, 10 million plus. And so up and down this Park Ave area is a beautiful walkable community, but you're still going to be pretty much car reliant for the majority of Winter Park. So who's somebody that would want to live in the Winter Park area? Well, typically it's going to be somebody that's a little bit more affluent, being that the price points here are a bit higher. But if you enjoy farmers markets on the weekends, you enjoy older and newer kind of style houses, and you want to be away from.
Okay, so I'm going to pause right there because we can literally watch this all day and we won't. I love his content, and the reason why I'm saying that it's because if you notice, not only he actually talked about the neighborhood, he threw in the homes that's within the area. So can you imagine if you're walking around Torrance right now, our South Bay agents, and you're showing, you know, properties near like Redondo Beach, and you're showing the high school there, you're showing the locals farmers market, LA Harbor, we have our farmers market, and then we have our PV's area, we have the hills, we have horse trails, and then we have all our local 6th Street in San Pedro. I mean, can you imagine putting something like that out there for a lot of clients that aren't familiar with our area? You know, contrary to popular belief, not everybody knows where Long Beach is, or Torrance, or, you know, San Pedro, or Ranchos Palos Verdes, right? These are so, our locations are so pocketed that not everybody else know where we are. They hear LA and they're like, oh, you're from Santa Monica. We're like, no, we're south of that. Or my favorite is, oh, you're from California, so you're in San Francisco. I'm like, no, we're 8 hours from there, right? But when we're putting out videos and contents, letting them know that, no, this is our neighborhood, you should consider moving here and I can help you. Any questions so far? What do you think of the content so far? What do you think of Ken? I mean, you know, I've heard him speak a couple times at our conventions, and he is amazing, super down to earth guy. And I mean, his contents are phenomenal. If you haven't followed him, I highly recommend it, because he has really, really, really good insights.
We have
In terms of video time length, the length of because that video is a little long, so you want to capture as many people. So what is your take on that?
Yeah, so my recommendation is, it depends on your platform, right? So YouTube, you can do a certain length. Facebook and Instagram is restricted. So my suggestion is, depending on what your content is. So for example, if you're going to do a neighborhood walk, or you know, something a little bit more in depth, then of course I would go YouTube. But with Instagram, Facebook, and if you're using the reels, you're doing a little short story, let's call it short stories, then that would be, hey guys, a brand new donut shop just opened, you know, please meet Nick. You know, he's the owner here, and then Nick would say, hey guys, you know, come on in, and I'll give you 15% off. Boom, shoot it straight to reels, shoot it to Facebook or to Instagram, right? So you just kind of have to prep what is it that you want to put out there that day and what you want to record. The other thing that you also can do is you can actually take snippets of what you're recording, and then you can kind of smash it all together and then decide, okay, do I want this whole thing onto YouTube, or if I want to put it on Facebook or Instagram. Hopefully that answered your question.
We have another question for you, Mary.
Shoot.
If you're videoing outside and you're videoing strange people, there's no legal ramification for doing that? Or if you see someone, you know, like starved or something that are in your videos, can you do that?
So from my understanding, there is really no legal ramification. But with that being said, we always want to be safe than sorry, especially if there's a random, you know, family walking through and there's children, things like that. You can actually kind of blur them out a little bit. So when you do the editing portion, there is a way that you can edit the background. You know, so it just depends. Or what I've learned living overseas is I just ask permission. When I was recording, when I was overseas, I would just say, hi, you know, you happen to be in my video. Is it okay that I release this on my social media platform? They can say yes, or they can say no.
Can I add to that, Mary?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think the best policy, but also just retake.
Yep.
Also, don't put.
Well, it depends. If you get someone that is, you know, hey, you know, I don't want to be on the video or anything, then yeah, just do a retake again and remove that issue. Yeah, awesome stuff, Mary. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, and you know what, Simon is right. And also, I will be very frank with you. I haven't ran into any person that didn't want to be on the video, right? They're gonna, you know, and I'll let them know, hey, you're gonna get blasted on my social media. I have over, I don't know, 2,000 viewers. I mean, it's not a lot of people, but you know, just a heads up. Or sometimes people don't even care. If you notice, like Ken's videos, people just walk in, but if you look carefully, you can tell you can't even see their faces because he did kind of semi blur them out a little bit. But yeah, but if you feel that, you know what, there's too many people or whatever the case is, just do a quick retake and then, you know, kind of angle yourself to where you won't get other people into your videos. Awesome. Okay, we are moving. Emails. Here's a fun one. Email is the most effective ROI marketing channel. I know that sounds silly, but it's true. And it's also free. All you're investing is a little bit of your time. So, you know, email is so important in the sense of, you know, it's one of those marketing tools that you can set it and leave it. And if you're using the right tools, such as smart plans, you don't have to worry about it. You can set it all up in your smart plan, which is in your command system. And once you set it all up, you're done. You wash your hands and you said, I'm going to start lead generating, or you know what, I'm on vacation. I don't have to worry about it because my clients are constantly going to get touched. Now, when you say, well, what do I send out and, you know, in regards to emails, right? We don't want to just send them anything, just anything. When it comes to emails, it's a little bit more personal. And then your tagline has to be very, very, I guess not clever, but something that will attract you. Why do we open our emails? Let's put ourselves in their situation. If you see, do you want to sell a home? Are you going to open that email? Probably not. But if an email comes through and we see your neighborhood, your current neighborhood stat, how much is your home worth? I'm a little curious. Now you piqued my interest. So you know what I'm going to do? I'll click on that email. So you just have to get a little bit creative on that. Okay. So here's 3 easy ideas that I did put together kind of in today's you know, market and our current date, so to speak. We have holidays that's coming up, so you can drop a holiday campaign. Halloween is next week. You also have Thanksgiving next month, and then I believe we also have Veterans Day that's coming up. and then we have Christmas. And December is a big month because depending on who your clients are, we have Hanukkah, we have Kwanzaa, we have Christmas, and then we roll it right into New Year's. And I mean, that alone is an abundance of contents that you can send them, right? Number 2 is raising renters. So if your database has a huge rental clients, this is right now is when I would target them, because December is when their leases is going to come up. I would say 80-90%, right? A lot of clients, they do move the beginning of the year, or they, their lease, or however they're set up. Usually their lease is up by the end of the year. So you know what you're going to do? You're going to send those emails and go, rent versus buy. How much will it cost you? Or how much are you paying out of pocket right now? Or how does it, or something along the lines where, do you want to continue paying someone else to somewhere to live, or do you want to pay yourself to live, right? So just things like that. Those are taglines that will capture your renters. And right now, like I said, it's a good time to start sending out those mailers or those emails. Okay, share transaction success. We talk about sharing transaction success. We talk about, via social media, our videos. But how come we can't share our success via email? Just close 1, 2, 3 Sesame Street. Over asking, very, very exciting. I would do a quick, just a quick blurb on it, and then do a call to action. Call me if you have any questions, or call me if you would like to be, the next homeowner or the next seller, right? So these are things that there's so many ideas out there, but this is what is going to set you apart from everyone else out there. Okay, real estate lead generation tips for emails. We talk, we're like, okay, we're constantly talking about lead generation. What do? Well, number 1, we share relevant neighborhood real estate market information. And when I say neighborhood, I'm not talking about you're jumping 5 cities, right? Pick your farm, focus on your farm, and know it like the back of your hand. You want to know all the nooks and crannies. You want to know where the alleyway is. You want to know how many blocks is the school, the nearest grocery store, heck, the nearest liquor store, because you'd be surprised. Convenience for a client is very important. Malls, freeway access. I mean, we all know those are the basics, but go the extra mile and give them a little bit more details. Hey, did you know that there is a vet just 2 blocks from this property? Or a pediatrician that, a lot of the families use if they have younger children. If they don't, go, yeah, there's an amazing general practitioner. He's a local. He lives in our neighborhood as well. I mean, these are things that are so important. And then use familiar images in your emails, meaning you all have a brand. When you go out there, you sell yourself. When Shireen goes out there, she sells Shireen. She's not going to sell Mary, but she's going to sell her. And I'm not going to sell Shireen because I'm going to sell Mary, right? That's why it's so important to make sure that you have your website, you have your social media set up, your email, your templates, your signature, all the way down to your email signature. Make sure it reflects you and your entire business. Okay, we are flying right through here. All right, print. So this is our last one. Print mails still exist. If everybody checked their mailbox every day, we still get postcards, which is so annoying because it should be our postcards. I can tell you. Well, actually, what's even funnier, when your husband brings a postcard home and go, why isn't this your picture? It's another conversation you may start having. But postcard does still exist. Mailers still exist. It can be costly, but this is why you're here at this business clinic, because you're trying to set yourself up and go, well, how much should I spend for marketing? My newer agents, you guys just invested in this business. You're like, I can't spend another $1,000. I just paid board dues, right? Well, it's okay. Pause on the printing and do the social media, do all the e-marketing. And once you get your traction, and then you can evaluate and revisit the print. Because it can be very, very costly, but it also does work. but that's all accumulative of everything else that we talked about today. All right, well, wow, I can't believe 30 minutes just went by like that. I hope this was informative. I hope that you know, you all took a little bit of something out of this presentation, and you know, we're very, very, very happy to be in business with all of you. So you guys have a good one. Simon, you are up, I believe.
All right. We are done. Awesome, Mary, good job. Thank you very much for your presentation. Now we have KW South Bay. Let me see if we can get this shared. Go Bay. Go here and here we are. Wonderful. Can everyone see our presentation? All right, so good afternoon. Before we get started, I want to thank Chris Rivera, you know, for providing us with the lunch. So let's give a round of applause to him. So part of the discussion that Carlos and I wanted to really dive deep into is understanding the models in place, right? As Holly was saying, as Mary and as Meny was saying, you know, we chose the budget model, and the big why was for the purpose of understanding what the market is right now, right? What we see right now. Interest rates are skyrocketing, right? We're seeing a pivotal point in our industry, right? And more so, go back a year or even a year and a half, right? When the market was totally different. Now, one of the components that I was sharing this morning, and I know most of you were on the morning producer's mindset, is how to pivot and ultimately utilize all the arsenal of tools that you have. Okay, and that's what's so amazing of what we have here is, you know, building blocks to help you take your business to the next level. So without further ado, we're going to dive deep into the budget model and the big why. So your budget model is about understanding what happens to your money between receiving it as gross revenue and keeping the net revenue of it. So take it away, Carlos.
All right, so going into the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book, there's 9 ways a millionaire real estate agent thinks. The first one of those being think powered by a big why. So let's break down that term big why, right? So it's big because you're after extraordinary results. We don't want to set small goals, we're setting huge goals, right? Because we want to achieve a big life. And why is because it's the reason that you get up every day and do what you do. So take a minute, if everybody can take out a piece of paper, and I want you to write down just really quickly, what do you think that your big why is? Just take 30 seconds. So while you're doing that, keep in mind your big why, it's your purpose, it's your mission, it's in your need. It fuels you with focus and energy, and it's going to power your actions. All right, so now that we have somewhat of an idea what our big why is, looking at that, I want you to ask yourself why. Why is that your big why? Take it a step deeper and expand on that. And now we have that second layer. Let's take it a step deeper. Why is that? What's impactful about that? How is that powerful for you? Your big why should move you. When you think about your big goal and your big why, you should be able to get a little choked up about it, right? You want it to be really, really powerful. This is what's going to push you past that, the people hanging up on you, past the doors being slammed, or past the escrows falling out. This is what's going to push you to that next level of achievement, that next level of success. All right, now that we have that third level, let's do it one more time. Let's go a little bit deeper. I see a couple of faces shifting. It's getting real, right? It's really touching, really resonating with why you got into this industry, what you're really working for, what your actual goals are. And I'm sure where you're at now is a little bit different than the first layer that you wrote, right? it's a little bit more meaningful, a little bit more impactful, a little bit more personal, yeah? That's your big why. That's what's going to fuel you, empowering the big life and get you to the next level of success. Now let's go into the budget model.
Awesome. Good stuff, right? It moved me for sure.
What's your why?
Oh, I can tell you what my big whys are, and I share with you. So let's dive deep into the budget model, the terms to know, okay? And this is again very relevant to today's market. Number one, the cost of sale, cost of acquiring revenue. Number two, gross profit, revenue left over after cost of sales. Number three, operation expenses, cost of running a business, whether or not a transaction occurs. Number four, the net income, the pre-tax income after the cost of sales and operation expenses. Okay, remember, all of us are running a business, right? As Holly was saying earlier, right, for a team perspective, the 30, 30, 40. For an individual, it's even more simplistic. It's 30-70. Knowing the revenue that comes in and the expenses gives you the net. When you run it at a high level, you're going to see the trajectory of where your business is going and how much of a budget you need to generate more opportunities. Does that make sense? Okay, cool. So based on the Millionaire Real Estate book, how it portrays is how I have the diagram. This is total gross commission, okay? For a team, 30% cost of sales, 30% of operation expenses, and 40% of your net income. For individual agents, the model is even simpler, as I stated earlier, 30-70. 30 of it is your expenses, and 70% is your net. Okay. Remember, the philosophy should be that for every dollar that you invest in your business expenses, you should be able to multiply, right? I'm going to show you an example. You guys all see this? What is this? Money bag. It's a money bag, right? So you're assuming that there's money in here, right? So I'm going to take out this $20 here, right? If you were to invest this $20 into your marketing, what would you want this $20 to do? You would want it to multiply, right? If you're going to invest in your business, right, you would want it to multiply. Okay, because it doesn't make any sense if you are utilizing $20, but your return on that $20 is $20. Why would you even bother to do a marketing plan if it's not going to give you a good return on your investment? Simple arithmetic, folks. You invest 20 and you get 20 back? No, right? Doesn't make any sense. But what if you were to invest $40 into your marketing, right? And your return on your investment comes to this. Okay. Isn't this show me the money! Is this a good return on your investment? 100%. That's why we do what we do, right? Because the conversions that we have, right? Low operation expenses, high return. In real estate, try to go open up a restaurant. Think about that for one quick minute. You have a building, you have rent, you have insurance, you have product, you have employees, you have systems, you have everything that will give you a lot of overhead, right? With the margins being very, very small, right? Because after all the revenue and paying all of your expenses, right, will generate you a very small profit. Whereas real estate is a little different. Okay, and it boils down to a very simple concept, folks, that all of us should follow. Okay, I say this all the time, and I will continue to say this as long as I'm doing real estate. Go out there and work. Because if you work, the end result is this. Okay. How many know when they wrap this, if it's $100 bills, it's usually how much? Okay, good. It's about $10,000, right? $10,000. So let's dive deep into it and really focus on how that looks. When you view the budget in this manner, right, where your expenses are adopted and lead with revenue as your financial model, next you need to get into the habit of playing the mental game, right? Of red light, green light, right? And this gives you a good gauge and increment results from the increased expenses through accountability. You have to hold your money accountable, okay, every single day. How many look at your financials on a regular basis? Okay, if you're not, why? Carlos was talking about the why, right? Why do we do what we do? Why did we choose real estate? Why do we need to do the necessary activities, right? For the end goal, right? The opportunities to generate the revenue and the income, okay? You must develop a self-discipline to stick to the model and the budget, okay? Where we see a lot of agents, unfortunately, is they work backwards, okay? You know what I mean? They're so excited, they're like a little puppy, okay? They got the real estate license, right? And now they want to go and get all these wazoo systems and do all this stuff before they even implement any opportunity to generate a buyer or seller, investor or developer, right? They want to look pretty. They want to do these awesome photos, right? Have their marketing in place. And all that is good. But have you generated the necessary revenue and income? No. Okay. So you got to look at it from that perspective. The three key focus that you need to focus on. Okay. And if you haven't got the Gary Keller Millionaire Real Estate book, I encourage you to please have that as part of the arsenal of what you need to do moving into 2023. Okay. Can I share this real quick? Okay. Yes. They're holding us accountable to this book. This book is still very relevant. Okay. It's not going to be an easy read in the very beginning, right? It takes a little while to understand the models in here, but it doesn't matter what type of market, this is still very relevant, very relevant. And I want you to implement and take the necessary action that you need in order to catapult your business. We're here to support you. We can lead you to the water, right? But I can't force you to drink the water, right? It's up to you. We can hold you accountable, but are you holding yourself accountable for your own well-being, right? Lead with revenue. Make money before you spend it, right? Simple business practice. Make the money first before you go and spend, right? I have a credit card balance of $5,000, but I have a credit limit of $25,000. $20,000 I'm going to use to go out and start marketing myself, right? Wrong concept thing. Okay. the way we need to be thinking as a CEO, as a business person is, how do I pay off that debt? Right? It's through knowing the process of all the 4 models. Okay, and more so tightening up your belt. You gotta know how to tighten up that belt. Okay, hold that thought for a minute, Farrah. Okay, I will come back to you. The basic idea is to try to spend only money that your business has generated. All right, in the beginning, it's hard, but let's look at it from a perspective of a high producing agent. Okay, a mega agent, someone that is doing 10 million in value, right? Their way of thinking is going to be a lot different than someone that is just, getting into the trenches of this industry. Or a $20 million producer, or even a $100 million producer, right? It takes money to make money, right? But what did I say earlier, right? The concept of a restaurant compared to a real estate agent, your overhead is a lot less, but the return on your investment is substantial, right? Play the red lights, green lights. Hold your money accountable, right? Do you hold your money accountable, or does your money hold you accountable? Okay, the money is going to win all the time, right? You need to discipline yourself and hold the money accountable. Over time, be prepared to invest the money back into your business to build it. Spending money is not the problem. The problem is holding the money you are spending accountable for results. What's that? You can correct it by pulling a stop sign. Have you seen a school bus, right? And the driver comes out, and before the driver steps out of the street, right? She or he looks both sides. The lights are lighting up. Then the school driver walks in the middle of the street. She puts that sign, right? Stop! And before anything happens, both sides of the traffic, everyone stops. Now she or he proceeds with letting the children pass, right? Well, it's the same mindset that we need to have with our money. You need to have that sign consistently day in and day out, holding that money accountable. When I don't have the means, you need to stop, okay? Because the way I know how agents think, I'll make it on my next deal. I'll make it on that next escrow that is going to close in 2 weeks. Guess what? I've seen transactions 2 days before closing canceled. Bye-bye to your money. That's the reality that we have here, folks, that it's uncertainty until that deal records. Don't go doing the happy dance, okay, and counting all that money, because I know in your head, you already spent your money. You already spent it. I know how agents think, right, Carlos? Okay. In all reality, right? Let's keep it real. Let's keep it authentic, right? Because we all think that, right? The awesome part is, we can be big dreamers and think, gosh, if I was to do X, Y, and Z, this is what I would get in return. And that's great. It's great to think that way, but also you need to know how to discipline yourself when it comes to the budget model. This is why I have a passion for it. And this is why I wanted to share this with you as part of the business planning. Because guess what? Fourth quarter is here. Okay, you got 65 days left till the end of the year. Okay. And part of that is, I was doing an exercise this morning is how many contacts do you have? How many contacts do you have on your phone? And if you were just to do 10% of those in your phone and then hit it hard in the next 65 days, would you be able to get 1 or 2 deals in escrow? The answer is yes, 100%. 100%. Stick to the budget. Percentage should remain relatively stable. It demands that you examine your books at least each and every month, because leading with revenue in with a red light, green light mentality requires you to stay in touch with what you are spending. Okay, budgeting is not only a core part of your business practice, it is also takes on the aspect of a game. That is what it means when we say that once you understand it, budgeting can be a fun and engagement opportunity for you. Okay, you can make it fun, right? How many have played Monopoly? Okay, how many like Monopoly? Yeah, why do you like Monopoly?
Because my real money is missing.
That's true. But what I like about Monopoly is the opportunity to buy real estate, right? And then buy houses and then buy hotels, right? And I like being a banker too. Right? Stick to the budget. Carlos, take it away, sir.
All right, so the natural rhythm of business demands that you have a month to write this part down. You have a monthly budget and you address it weekly. Why would you think that you would want to check your monthly budget weekly? Absolutely. It goes back to playing red light, green light with your finances, right? Let's say you implement a new lead generation system or a new marketing system, and it's not really yielding the best result. Red light, let's pivot, let's shift, right? Holding your finances accountable for what you expect it to do. So examining it weekly, keep an operating account separate from your personal account, and then also keep your taxes separate. This is gonna help you in the long run. Next slide. Yes, sir. So the budget model, it gives you two tools in one. So your budget is going to be your planning tool. It's created every year. And one thing I really want to stress to you guys, this is a live document. You can adjust it throughout the year. If you see that you're not on track, let's make some adjustments. Playing that red light, green light game with your finances, yeah? Projects expected returns and cash flow. Restrain the game. One thing you want to know, invest, don't spend. Every dollar that you use for your business is an investment. So make sure that we're investing, not just frivolously spending. And practice accountability, not accounting. Once again, every dollar you spend should be held accountable. Dollar for dollar is not enough. As Simon stated, we want the $100 stack, right? Dollar for dollar is not enough. Then your P&L. Your P&L, your profit and loss statement, is going to be a management tool. So reviewing that bi-weekly at minimum is going to show your actual versus your projections. So you're going to have your set budget, and your P&L is going to show you how much you actually spend for each category. We have a diagram of that here shortly. And adjust to win, making those small adjustments, those small course corrections to maximize that income, right? Maximize that gain. Next slide. So here's an example of the budget model. And as you see, it breaks down all the different things. Don't stress. It's in your packet. So you begin with your GCI from the economic model. You enter the values based on your GCI and how you run your business, and compare it to that of a millionaire real estate agent. And it breaks down how you can multiply that by your GCI in this column to get those values. And we're going to have one that you can actually download and go in and plug in your values as well at the end. And so utilizing this to map out your costs, plan your budget, plan how you're going to be spending the money next year before you go in there and don't have a plan, right? Profit and loss statement. So this is an example of a monthly profit and loss statement. So in order to know how you're going to make money and how much money you're going to actually make, you need to be able to assess where your money is going and how much you are as well, right? That's how we're going to be able to tell how much you actually gain. So utilizing a monthly profit or loss statement. And like we said, addressing it weekly. Make sure you're checking in with it. Am I on track? Am I hitting the right metrics? Am I spending too much? Am I focusing too much on this specific category when I should be focusing here? Did I stick to the budget that I put in place, right?
Can I add to that as well too, Carlos? So this is a very important component in our business. And I can tell you from personal experience, it took me a long time to understand the dynamics and how an P&L works, right? The income that you make, the expenses that you have, and you still got to take and separate, right? Separate your personal, right, from your business. Do not commingle, okay? Because then the numbers are going to be off. You have to have a separate business account, separate business card, separate checking account, everything to coincide to what the revenue that you get from your real estate business. Does that make sense? And this is why it's very important. And I'm going to go back just one more, back to the first one of understanding the budget model, right? Because this is straight out from the millionaire real estate book, the 30-30-40, right? And this is more driven for team perspective, but who doesn't want to generate and grow a business and now start having team members as part of your team, right? You're the rainmaker. Now you have an administrator, right? Now you have agents working for you, right? Because part of what Keller Williams believes is, the legacy you're willing to leave behind, right? What does that look like when you're ready to exit real estate? Have you built a portfolio of real estate, right? Have you built a phenomenal business, right? And now it's running like a well-oiled machine, right? This is very important to analyze because the trajectory of where your business is now and where it can be in the future is very crucial. Okay, very, very, very crucial. Okay? And if you follow this, then you kind of understand the dynamics, right? The cost of sale. And then the operation expenses, that's where the P&L comes into. And then it defines and it gives you just, wow, like it really opens up. Do I really need to have this? Do I really need to have that? Can I eliminate that and now utilize the aspect? And Carlos has a phenomenal Excel spreadsheet that, plug and play, and it allows you to just punch in some numbers based on what your goal of your GCI, and then following the model, okay? And then it'll tell you what your budget is for, reinvesting into your business. Make sense? Cool stuff? Exciting stuff?
Yeah.
Okay, we're almost on the home stretch, right? We got 2 more minutes, Carlos. All right.
But wait, there's more. So go ahead and scan this QR code. It's gonna give you all of the different models from the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book. So go right ahead and scan that. You can download the chart of accounts, and like you said, everything's in the book. It's all in here. No matter what level of production, no matter where you're at in your business, this book is still gonna be relevant to you.
Sorry.
And I think Kim actually put the link in the chat as well.
Take an image of this, and this takes you right into the site where you can get to your chart of account and other cool stuff as well too. Okay. All right. Any questions?
Yes,
Yeah, going back. Yes, thank you.
when you start and you haven't had any transactions, you need to spend on flyers, you need to spend on whatever it is that you need. You go door knocking, you still need to have some kind of tools, something to leave with the client. How would you do that if you said don't spend money until you make money?
That's a very good question. You need to have a part-time job, right? I mean, you're not going to get into real estate thinking, okay, I'm going to make quick money, right? That's not how it works. You got to understand your responsibility, right? Do you have enough to stay in this for 6 months without having some other type of income? Let's be honest and be realistic about this, because I understand someone that wants to get in full-blown, full-time into it. I would ask, and Carlos would probably testify to this, is what other streams of income are you generating, right? Well, I work part-time or I have a full-time job. A lot of us had previous jobs before we went into full-time real estate. Okay, don't work backwards, work it smart. Okay, so to answer your question, Farah, yeah, I would ask, well, what other revenues are you getting? Well, I have rental income that I get. Okay, well, let's break it down. How much of that money can you put aside, right? And let's just go even deeper into that. You know, real estate portfolio is a different category, right? Which we can spend hours just in that topic, but we need to know what other sources is maintaining you on a regular basis, right? Because we have all of our personal stuff, right? We have our mortgages, we have our rents, right? We have our insurance, right? We have vehicles, we have insurance for our vehicles, fuel, food, you know? So there's a lot of elements. So the first thing I would ask is, what other source of income do you have before? And if you don't have, I would say, well, you know what? Maybe you should wait, because real estate and real estate transactions don't happen immediately. If you're one of the fortunate ones, one of the lucky ones that pick up a listing, close the deal, congratulations. But that's not sure and that's not guaranteed, right? Yes, Carl.
One thing I would also like to highlight, just addressing your question as well. You mentioned a lead generation source that does cost money. However, your phone, that's your database. That's where you start. So hitting your phone, hitting your sphere of influence, that's how you're going to generate that business and get your first couple of transactions to get that revenue in there. So now that we have this book of business from hitting our sphere of influence, now let me invest in door hangers, or let me invest in, you know, a different lead generation system. Now that we've already started that revenue stream and we're leading with that, right?
It's connecting with a client and also
Yeah.
educating them what you know.
All right, team, I think we went a little over our time. I apologize, but thank you very much. I hope this information was of value.
And one thing, can you hear me?
Yes.
Last thing to add is every office, your local office is gonna do a follow-up session either later in November or early December. So they're gonna let you know when that's gonna take place. Just as again, like a just local office per office follow-up. So by then, what you should do is write your goals, get your 411 in order, 135, big Y, everything set and ready to go to 2023. So we can tackle that year together and make it best year ever. So thanks everybody. Keep it up. We'll see you out there.
Thank you.
We're done.